News reporters, programme presenters and technicians from Radio Devon joined a bus bound for London early this morning, stopping en route to pick up colleagues from Radio Bristol. At Radio Devon's Exeter headquarters, an empty newsroom told its own story. Less than a dozen people turned up for work, which meant that one programme had to be scrapped altogether and others changed in format. A reduced service was how management there described it. Presenters put out the station's breakfast show as usual, although without the normal technical backup. A BBC spokesman in Bristol said the day of action had had a patchy effect in the southwest. Radios Cornwall and Jersey were hardly affected, Guernsey probably the worst hit. Many of the missing staff arrived at the House of Commons after lunch. A 10% cut means a loss of around £70,000 from Radio Devon's budget. That could hit news and freelance presented programmes. The staff from Radio Devon had composed their own song.
The loss of the following will leave you in tears. News broadcasts and phone-ins, discussions and music, and Uncle Tom Cobley and all, and Uncle Tom Cobley and all.
We're not going to be able to serve our own listeners who are very loyal to us, and I think that's something that the BBC hierarchy in London don't realise. Local radio, it's popular. They don't realise it. Our listeners like us. They don't want someone in London talking to them about what's happening in London or the South East. They want to know what's going on their doorstep.
The BBC says that with the creation of new radio stations in the south and west, more jobs will be created than are lost. What do you say?
Well, in the south and west, we're lucky in that respect, yes, but in other areas, the northwest and northeast, where they've got old radio stations, they're having to lay off a lot of people who aren't going to be able to find jobs.
The protesters went on to buttonhole MPs, many of whom were equally opposed to the cuts.
If we were sure that this wouldn't happen in future, I think maybe people could adjust their belts. I don't think it would be easy, but maybe it could be done. But all the evidence is that this is just the first cut on a slope away from public service broadcasting and towards maybe just a commercial service, providing none of the real local public service that is presently given.
The BBC said today that 3 new local radio stations were due to open soon in the south and west region, and the number of jobs being created far outnumber the potential job losses. The statement said the corporation has a firm commitment to local radio.
Jingle Art.co.uk